Good evening and welcome to Violet News. I'm Violet, and in today's top story, we have breaking news regarding the French presidential race. Just 3 days before the election, we have uncovered some shocking revelations about one of the leading candidates, Thomas Dubois. Our investigative journalists have obtained documents that reveal that Thomas Dubois, a labor leader and former communist militant, has used campaign funds inappropriately. It appears that he engaged a public relations firm to promote his campaign, but the documents showed that the firm billed him for services that were never provided. These included campaign events that never took place and advertisements that were never aired. In addition, there were invoices for personal expenses such as exotic vacations, gourmet restaurants, and beauty treatments, all of which were fraudulently billed as campaign expenses. But that's not all. Our journalists have also uncovered evidence that Thomas Dubois has lied about his position on nationalizing businesses. Despite his public statements in favor of nationalization, it turns out that he has secretly invested in private companies. He used shell companies to hide his investments, and just before the campaign started, he sold his shares in these companies, raising questions about his sincerity and credibility. These revelations have caused a scandal that has rocked Thomas Dubois' campaign just days before the election. His opponents are seizing on these revelations to question his integrity, and his supporters are left wondering how this could happen. The timing of these revelations couldn't be worse for Thomas Dubois, who was seen as a leading candidate in the presidential race. His campaign has been built around his reputation as a champion for the working class and an advocate for social justice. But now, with these scandals emerging, many are left wondering if he is really the person they thought he was. Mr. Dubois, you have been accused of using campaign funds inappropriately. Can you explain these allegations?
First of all, I want to make it clear that I have always acted in the best interest of my campaign and my supporters. As for these allegations, I strongly deny them. I have already provided the relevant documents and receipts to the authorities, and I am confident that I will be cleared of any wrongdoing.
But the documents show that you used campaign funds for personal expenses such as vacations and luxury cars. How do you explain that?
Those expenses were related to my campaign. For example, I needed to take a break to recharge my batteries and be more effective in my campaign. And the car was necessary for me to travel to campaign events. As for the receipts, they were all legitimate, and I have nothing to hide.
But how do you explain that invoices were issued for events that never happened and ads that were never shown?
There was a mistake made by my campaign team. They were under a lot of pressure and made some errors. However, as I said before, I have provided all the relevant documents to the authorities, and I am confident that I will be cleared of any wrongdoing.
And what about the accusations that you secretly invested in private companies while publicly advocating for nationalization?
Those accusations are completely baseless. I have always been transparent about my investments, and I have never hidden anything. As for my position on nationalization, I believe that it is necessary to protect our economy from the excesses of capitalism. However, I also believe in the importance of private enterprise and innovation, and I have never advocated for the complete abolition of private property. Those are baseless accusations made by my political opponents who are afraid of my progressive agenda.
Some people are saying that you lack credibility and that you are not fit to be president. What do you say to that?
I have always been honest and transparent with the French people, and I will continue to fight for their interests and for a more just and equitable society. I am confident that the French people will see through these smears and will support me in the upcoming election.
We've heard from several politicians regarding Thomas Dubois' recent scandals, but we haven't yet heard from Emily Rousseau, an environmental activist and member of the Free Citizens Movement. Emily, what are your thoughts on these allegations against Mr. Dubois?
Mr. Dubois, it's quite disappointing to see another politician embroiled in scandal. Your alleged misuse of campaign funds is not only illegal, but also a slap in the face to all the people who supported your campaign and believed in your promises. And your excuses for using campaign funds for vacations and luxury cars are simply ridiculous. I mean, come on, taking a break to recharge your batteries. If you're not able to campaign without taking expensive vacations, maybe you're not cut out for the job. And a luxury car for campaign events. Really? That's just a blatant misuse of funds. And what about those invoices for events that never happened and ads that were never shown? Do you really expect us to believe that it was just a mistake made by your campaign team? It sounds more like a deliberate attempt to deceive the public and misappropriate funds for personal gain. As an environmental activist, I also find it hard to believe that someone who claims to be a progressive and advocates for the protection of the common good secretly invested in private companies while publicly advocating for nationalization. Your lack of transparency and integrity is simply unacceptable. It's time for politicians like you to be held accountable for your actions and for the public to demand more transparency and honesty from those seeking public office. We deserve better than this.
That's all for now, but we will continue to bring you the latest updates on this story as it develops. Thank you for watching Violet News, and we'll see you again tomorrow.